We talked about in our video one, the overview, how our goals might vary greatly. Some of us have 100 pounds to lose, some of us have 5 pounds to lose, some of us want to just optimize our most athletic, most energized body and bring that to our lives every single day. But there's one principle that's generally going to be the same across the board, and that's our protein first model. So I want to make nutrition extremely easy. And if you were to only watch one of these videos, this would be the video I'd strongly encourage you to practice first. In fact, it's usually the first thing that I tackle and the first thing that I educate on when I'm working one-on-one with clients. And that's incorporating this protein first model we work with here at CoreFit. What we're looking at is increasing our protein in our body, making sure we're getting at least 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. Now I want to give you a couple asterisks with that. If we have a great amount of weight to lose, let's say it's more than 50 pounds, then we want to think about maybe where our optimal life is, where's our goal at, and let's split the difference between where we are and where you think you want to be, and let's find that middle ground, and that's what we're going to use for our 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. If you are an athlete, you're actively engaging, you're training more than an hour to up to 2 hours a day, and you're training multiple days a week, we might want to increase this up to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Protein first at 0.7 grams. So pause this. Let's think about where you are and what that looks like. How much protein is that in a day? Let's use an easy number for myself here, 100 grams of protein in our day. So we're going to think about how many meals do we eat in a day. If we're going to eat 4 meals, well, that's going to be, let's say, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack in between one of those, or maybe 2 snacks, maybe it's 5 meals. We're going to divide that 100 by, let's say, 4 meals. I'm eating 4 times a day. So that's 25 grams of protein that I want to have on average across my day. Now, depending on our lifestyles, that can look very different. If you have the opportunity to eat a full breakfast at home, I encourage you to go above that 25 grams and aim for 35 grams of protein in meal 1 and get ahead of the game. That way, if you have to work through your snack or you didn't bring it with you, you're already ahead. We can easily make up that 25 grams that we may have missed in one of those meals at a later meal. When we sit down to eat, I want you to imagine that your plate is in front of you and you've got a 6-ounce chicken breast. Now we know there's about 7 to 8 grams per gram, 7 to 8 grams of protein per ounce, of chicken. So if we had what I said there, let's say 6 ounces, 6 times, let's go with 8 ounces, is going to be 42 grams of protein right there in that chicken breast. So great, we've got 42 grams coming down, and we're going to have on the side of our plate maybe a potato, maybe a salad as well. What I want to encourage you to do with protein first is to eat the majority of your protein first at each meal. That way, let's say I eat about half to 3/4 of that chicken before I start eating my potatoes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start to, one, feel a little bit more satiated. I'm going to avoid that rush, especially if our blood sugars are low, and wanting to eat all that potato right out of the gate and just put that away. That's going to be something we learn about in our blood sugars, where that would possibly cause a bigger spike of blood sugar for ourselves and set us up on that roller coaster down the road at a later meal. So I'm going to ensure that I get all my protein. If we were to eat the salad, the potato, or whatever extras might be on our plate, that protein does not look as appetizing. Our body just said we got a lot of energy, a lot of calories. All of a sudden, just that clean protein isn't as fulfilling anymore, and then maybe we don't end up eating all of our protein at that meal. So we're going to eat at least half, if not 3/4 of that before we start to eat into the other things on our plate. Now keep in mind, this strategy is definitely best employed when weight loss is our goal and we're trying to control how many calories we're bringing in. Ultimately, calories in does matter, but so do the type of calories that we're eating. You may have heard that on a lot of different videos, a lot of different topics, that this does matter, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you, they both matter. They both matter. That's why people will argue for one or the other. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure we eat our protein targets every day. I encourage you to find an app that works for you. I think the most common one that I work with folks is MyFitnessPal. It's very user friendly. One that I like to work with is called Macronutrients. Sorry, it's not Macronutrients. It is Cronometer. Cronometer, only reason I prefer that one is it's vastly detailed in our overall nutrients that we're eating, and it can highlight some holes. It's going to tell us all the different vitamins and minerals that we're taking in through our day, as well as the calories, as well as the macros, as well as a lot of other details For if you're working with a coach or professional like myself, we want to see those things. For your own personal goals, they may not matter as much, or they may not mean as much to you unless you have some education in that area. So figuring out mostly, am I getting my protein target every day? There's another app that I use called TickTick, where we can set up a goal and we can add in our protein as we're going through the day and make sure we're swiping that. We can look back at your calendar and see how many days out of the week that you've hit that goal and see, are we really doing what we set out to do? It really helps to measure these things. And in the beginning, I also highly encourage you to spend the first 2 weeks minimum actually getting the food scale out and weighing all of your proteins. Let's make sure that what you think is 4 ounces is actually 4 ounces. It doesn't matter if it's cooked or not cooked, not so much. Yes, we're gonna lose a little bit of water content after we cook the food, but you can weigh the food either way. We found that to be pretty indifferential for our overall protein target and hitting those goals. So let's summarize this. Our goal is to hit 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight, or somewhere between where we are now and where our ideal weight is. We're gonna aim for that as our protein target. Let's figure that out. Let's divide that across our meals, and then let's be proactive. Don't just try to get there, actually set up a plan. Have an idea what you're gonna eat for breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner, and make sure that hits your protein target or even exceeds it. So when we go through our day, we can check those boxes and we know we're on target. We're going to be successful in those goals. I really hope you guys reach out to myself or any of our other coaches here if you have questions about this. Let's help set you up for success so you can hit our first and perhaps most important target here, the protein first goal.